On to our next guest now, and Tietto Minerals is raising well over $60 million to drive the Abuja Gold Project in West Africa. To help us drill into it from Perth, I'm pleased to welcome Executive Director Mark Strizek to the conversation. Afternoon, Mark.
Yeah,
Welcome to AusbizTV. So this is a substantial raise and it should provide a bit of runway for the project. Perhaps you can tell our viewers just a little bit about this project and what it means to your company.
okay. Look, this is a pretty transformational raise. We're looking at a very simple open pit gold development in Côte d'Ivoire, which is a great jurisdiction, and these funds are going to allow us to run all the way through the DFS, look at some long lead working capital and long lead items. So it really gives us the right amount of funding to be able to really prosecute our strategy. So look, it's very, very exciting for us.
From the perspective of the stock price action in the past couple of months, the stock was trading as low as 6 cents, I believe, only months ago, and now it's trading tenfold to that, well into the 70s. So is this a case of really taking an opportunity on the back of positive gold prices and positive stock price for this raise?
Look, that's right. I mean, it's we did kind of get caught up in that mad March, but I think the fundamentals of this project are very easy to understand. It's gold. It's an open pit operation where we're looking to develop, and we've got an incredible amount of resource potential in terms of growth from the large amount of fairway we've got to work with there. So look, I think that kind of the penny started to drop, and obviously, look, we very happy that we've seen the share price starting to reflect that. 2.2 million ounces, and looking at a fairly substantial increase coming up in end of September.
And how is the state of play when it comes to the Ivory Coast and securing the asset? Have there been any instances or any potential outcomes where that might prove unfavourable with the political climate?
Look, Côte d'Ivoire is it's in an ideal location. It's politically they'll have some elections this year, but look at in terms of security and so forth, it hasn't had anything that we've seen in some of the other countries. It's a very it's quite a sophisticated economy. Abidjan is a very large fiscal centre, and we've seen the country's probably had about 10 years of double-digit GDP. So travelling around the countryside, we feel that everything's moving in the right direction, and we're lucky enough to benefit from there's very strong government support for development of new projects. We've seen that with Perseus, Sissingué, and Yare, and Endeavour with their Iddy mine. So we'd like to be a next cab off the rank.
And how's the COVID situation on the ground there at the moment? Does that allow for the facilities to remain open and working as usual? And are the communities nearby hopefully not too affected by COVID? What's the situation?
Look, we, I guess in a nutshell, business seems to be running as usual. Abidjan did have a lockdown, and that's been released. We're monitoring the situation, but it does seem that the country as a whole is managing this quite well. They've got a fairly good understanding of dealing with pandemics. Obviously, they had some of their neighbours with Ebola, and they were able to manage that very successfully. So, I think in the day-to-day, it has meant that we've had to develop some, quarantine strategies and so forth. But overall, our business continues as always. And, I think the situation's looking, I think it's being managed as well as it could.
What sort of timeline are we estimating here for this gold to be drilled, to be mined, and to be produced and shipped to market? What sort of timeline should investors expect?
Right. Well, I guess the first kind of milestones, we've got the resource coming up at the end of September this year, and then a PFS in early Q1 next year. We'll be trying to bring that forward if possible, and a DFS in June next year. So that DFS next year is going to be that key driver for the financial investment decision. So look, I guess a wish list, a little bit hard to say, but look, I think there's it could well be within the next couple of years or so. That's really, we're going to be trying to move very, very quickly on this.
Well, Mark, it's been fantastic having you join us on the program. I should clarify, the stock was down at about 6 cents in 2019. It fell to about 12 cents in the midst of the pandemic. We wish you the best of luck with this raise and the expansion.
Okay, thanks very much.